she was selling Clay her body in a sense of like, okay, like I know maybe the attractiveness has to get there. Usually you're probably not used to dating darker skinned women. So I feel like in a way she was trying to sell herself and be like, hey, like I'm still pretty, I'm still whatever, just to like make him like her. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I need to take a motherfucking hit before making this video.
No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Love yours. Thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing, no such thing.
Jumbo everyone, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about misogynoir and how that kind of relates to Love is Blind and AD and Clay. So the reason why I wanted to make this video, I had already been kind of, you know, brewing, thinking about how I was going to go about making this video in the first place, especially talking about misogynoir, which is such a touchy kind of subject. So I was kind of like, but then all the discourse that I have been seeing about Love is Blind season 6, if you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, there are going to be some spoilers, so you have been warned. So when thinking about this video, I was really trying to kind of think of how to connect the two, and I think after watching Love is Blind season 6, it really kind of made clear how big misogynoir is within the Black community, especially not only just like because of white supremacy, but also very much within the Black community. And I think Clay did a very good job at showing us that. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. Also, I am going to be paraphrasing a lot of what Cecilia Regina said, so her TikTok will be linked down below. I love her hot takes. They're not even really hot takes, they're just very much the truth. And I think a lot of the times people don't want to listen to her because it's true. Just what she was saying about AD and Clay and how Clay's a colorist, I very much agree. And I think that was like the best way to tie this into misogynoir and, you know, have people talking about it, because AD is a beautiful woman, beautiful, intellectual, she gets her money up, but because of misogynoir, I feel like that is what attributed to the way she was treated on the show by Clay, if that makes any sense. Without me further rambling, let's get into this video. So what is misogynoir and who came up with the term? So first, to understand misogynoir, we have to understand misogyny, and the definition of misogyny is a hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women or girls. It is a form of sexism that can keep women at a lower social status than men, thus maintaining the social roles of patriarchy. Misogyny has been widely practiced for thousands of years. So obviously, if you know misogyny, it's basically just not believing that women are on the same level as you, willing to go to any lengths to show that if you're a man, you're above a woman and you have the superiority and just shit like that. We don't do that toxic misogyny over here, that toxic masculinity. No, we're not doing that. Like I said, in order to understand misogynoir, we have to understand misogyny. So obviously, if misogyny is a hatred or just, you know, looking down on women, misogynoir is a term referring to misogyny directed towards Black women where race and gender both play a role. The term was coined by a Black feminist writer, Moya Bailey, in 2008 to address misogyny directed towards Black transgender and cisgender women in American visual and popular culture. So with saying that, obviously we can see that misogynoir is the hatred of Black women, and I know a lot of people can think like that's kind of harsh, but y'all gotta realize, like, being the blueprint but people never want to give you credit, or people want to call it ghetto on you but fabulous on other races, y'all will never understand. So that is why I'm making this video, just to show, like, when AD was like, when is it gonna be my turn, like when am I gonna be picked? I feel like a lot of Black women kind of felt that, like, it's like no matter what we do and no matter how we please people, we will still never be enough in their eyes. So that's kind of why I really wanted to make this video and touch on these topics, because I just saw so much going on within this season. It was fucking crazy. And usually I never talk about reality TV shows, and more of me being like, okay, this is a lesson that a lot of Black women can learn from it and take the red flags that AD went through, use her as an example so we all don't have to go through the same thing. So also with making this video, I feel like I have to tie in a whole bunch of different definitions that kind of all tie in with each other, and kind of like you have to understand one of the definitions to understand another. So what I'm going to be talking about is intersectionality, or intersectional theory, is a term first coined in 1989 by American civil rights advocate and leading scholar of critical race theory, Kimberly Williams Crenshaw. It is the study of overlapping or intersecting social identities and related systems of oppression, submission, domination, and discrimination. So I know a lot of y'all may be thinking, what does intersectionality have to do with colorism? I feel like I'm just doing definition after definition after definition, but I feel like it'll make a lot more sense in the discussion of me actually talking about Love is Blind and how that plays a part. Colorism is basically discrimination based on skin tone, also known as colorism or shadeism, is a form of prejudice and discrimination in which people of certain ethnic groups or people who are perceived as belonging to a darker skinned race are treated differently based on their darker skin tone. Something that I want to say is I don't consider myself light skinned just because I feel like light skin is more based towards like biracial people, but I do understand in the winter when I am white, I can understand how I can be perceived, and that's also like I would say like a privilege that I can have. Like not necessarily that I am dark skinned, like obviously I know that I'm still gonna experience colorism and texturism and all these other isms, but I just feel like that kind of goes and shows as to how Clay grew up and really internalizing the love that he saw between his father, because it's like obviously his father probably was cheating on his mother with a lot more fair skinned women, even though his mom is light skinned. So that's also another thing, because it's like if Clay were to see his father with black women, darker skinned black women, I feel like that would have changed his perception when it came to AD. But because of his dad also being a colorist and also a narcissist as well, he internalized that. He has never seen black love. And nigga, you're telling me that you're fucking you're sitting here and telling me that your fucking people that you look up to, your dad Will Smith aka was with Jada Smith, who is light skinned, and then you're gonna say P Diddy, who was with Cassie for the last 10 fucking years, who is, you know, these racially ambiguous women. You don't want a black woman. Just say that. Even someone said on his vision board, it was a light-skinned woman. You did not want, you could not see yourself marrying a dark-skinned woman, because you know that if you have kids with a dark-skinned woman, you wouldn't be able to escape that colorist mindset that you have, and you would put it on your kid. Let's be real. We all need to be honest with ourselves. Is Clay thought that he was going to be with a lighter-skinned woman or even a white girl. AD has that very soft voice. She carries herself very well. She is well off. So that is him saying finances. That was the biggest bullshit of my fucking life. So that is what I'm saying when he didn't want to marry her because she's dark skinned. I know a lot of people are ripping into AD right now, and I really feel like we need to give that girl benefit of the doubt, because if y'all were on reality TV and your life was being fucking blasted to everyone and your embarrassing moments, you wouldn't want that shit to be shown either. So give that girl some grace, but also keep coming at Clay because he deserves it. I'm still gonna say, felt like AD was doing everything in her power to be picked by this man, and one thing you will never catch me doing again is being a pick me. I am not going to beg you to be in my fucking life. I'm also not going to show you why you should be in my life. AD just kept going along with whatever Clay was saying. This man was saying, I'm going to cheat on you.
I love you.
Yeah, me too. Imagine if I cheated right now and messed everything up.
Did you check the weather today? I don't know.
Yeah, it's cloudy with a chance of cheating. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming in. Achoo! Oh, my chest.
Oh no, are you having a heart attack?
No, I'm just feeling the urge to cheat. Listen, I'm not gonna make promises, but there's a huge chance that I might cheat.
Okay, what are the chances that you think that might happen though?
About like 99%.
Okay. Babe, why are you staring at me like that?
You're so beautiful. I really hope I don't cheat on you for real.
Clay, fight it! Fight the urge to
I'm
cheat.
trying!
Fight it!
I'm not trying to like start nothing, but like, what would you do if I cheated? Listen, I just want to warn you that I might cheat on you because my dad cheated, so you know, it might be a little rough.
Could you let me know in advance like when you might cheat?
Well, the feeling kind of like comes and goes.
Right.
Sometimes on Saturdays I get the urge to cheat because like that's like my biggest day.
Right.
Wednesdays is a little iffy.
Okay, I'll write down Wednesday.
But you know, today's Sunday, so we should be good. Okay, so like let's pretend that I cheated, right? Would you still be like my lifelong fiance? Okay, right now it's just me and you. But if I add a third party.
And she still had the nerve to say yes at the altar. And instead of standing on motherfucking business, AD just wanted to be a wife. And let's be honest, people who are in relationships feel this type of superiority towards people who are single because they feel like instead of being able to just fucking be alone and be okay with being alone, they would rather be in a relationship that is not suiting them, not benefiting them in any type of way, and actually draining them even more because they're afraid to be alone, because they just want to be picked. And that is what we saw right here. AD was willing to cross all of her boundaries just so she could be called a wife.
Okay.
Got a question to ask someone?
So it was a game time decision. Like I thought about everything. AD, like
I really was fucked and struggling with everything this whole time.
It's no world that exists where I don't understand that, Clay.
But I'm saying, but like, it's irresponsible of me to say yes in this time when I'm not ready to give you 100%, and you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want me saying yes and being half-assed with marriage. You wouldn't want that. And I've said I'm not ready for that. Like, I'm feeling bad because I see you crying. It's hurting me. It was a game time decision for me. I want to reconsider everything. And it's just for me to say, off a great 2 weeks, this is going to be my wife forever. I could not make that decision to you today.
And I'm telling you, we gotta give Clay some credit, because if he didn't say no at the altar, that relationship would have been tumultuous, and it would have been like, what, season 2 of Love is Blind with Ayanna and Jared, where they got divorced because Jared wanted to be a party man. Clay went on this show for clout. Let's be real. That nigga had TikTok on his fucking vision board. You went on this show for clout. Talking about, I ain't never seen Love is Blind. You know you're a nigga. You know you be fucking around. And you want to tell me, oh, dating is hard. No, you're just superficial as fuck because you showed yourself in the pods by telling AD you needed to see what the fuck she looked like in order to marry her. The only reason you got mad is because your little ego was hurt that Matthew's ass had a chance over you. So you really was like pacing around the room, being all mad, huffing and puffing. Nigga, let's be real. You only picked AD because your ego was hurt that she was about to pick Matthew's white ass over you.
It's me and you and Matthew.
Oh, even Matthew. Oh my fucking God. Okay. You're gonna regret that. I'm telling you, like, I don't understand. Like, am I not like really? It's like my ego is like fucking with me so hard. I'm really trying to be very understanding and work with you on this.
There were also so many red flags, and AD, that one's on you, baby. That one is on you, because you, like, I just felt like this whole show was foreshadowing itself. AD in the beginning is sitting there saying, oh, I always feel like I'm Bob the Builder. I'm building these men up. Yeah, you did it to Clay too. You were trying to do that to Clay. You were expecting that. Why do y'all think that as soon as y'all get married, he's gonna change? If that is not how he is in the relationship, that is not how he's about to be in marriage. When you get married to this man, Lord, he ain't gonna change. If anything, he's gonna show his true fucking colors. You did this to yourself because you even said that when you see red flags, you just paint your nails red. Girl, what? Girl, what? You did that to yourself. Sorry. I also thought certain comments would be the one to like have her snap back into fucking reality and be like, oh, this man does not like me. Like the pregnancy comment talking about, I'm gonna get you back in the gym. Nigga, she just pushed your big-headed ass baby out her fucking vagina and you're telling her she needs to go back to the gym. Later on of the objectification of AD, but the way that her body was used as a commodity within the show, and how, just don't even get me riled up. Anyways, also how he was scared to cheat. He said that way too fucking much. You're saying that like you're trying to self-sabotage this relationship. This is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna do this. Okay? I also feel like the conversation with his father did not help at all. That man was literally talking about himself.
But for me, here's what your grandmother always said to me. Treat your wife well. Be good to your kids.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't have to tell me to be good to my kids.
Yeah.
That came natural.
Yeah, yeah.
What? That was it?
When it comes to right and wrong, you know, it doesn't matter.
What?
It doesn't matter if everybody else is like in your ear telling you, oh, do this, do that. You gotta trust yourself.
Yeah.
What?
Me and my dad haven't really had too much deep conversations.
I wonder
in terms of
why.
words. That was the most important to me my whole life.
Bro.
You know, my dad was married to my mom for 25
And
years.
cheated on her.
My dad used to take me with him when he used to cheat on my mom.
Exactly.
My mom never knew that. I want to know, were you in love the whole time? You know, because I've seen him from a different perspective, and there's a gray area when it comes to marriage, and I'm just so big on that gray area, and I just don't hear too many men articulate that gray area. A couple hours, man, it's gonna be the big stage, you know. But you know, one thing about me.
Talking about how he vicariously lived through his son, and even now I really feel like after he rejected AD, the only validation that his father gave him was after he rejected AD. And if you think about it, Clay gonna end up fucking single and alone in fucking 30 years because of his daddy, because he has issues that he don't want to heal from. Talking about, I'm finna go to therapy. Nigga, you should have gone to therapy when y'all got back. That should have been a conversation. Trying to be like, I want to go to therapy to be better for you because I really see this working. Someone was talking about they talk to each other like they're fucking best friends. Y'all don't talk to each other like it's not giving in love. It's giving the woman is more in love with the man, and that's something I will never do. I will never be more in love than my partner is, because that's embarrassing. Unless there's a mutual love and that it's reciprocated back and forth, but you will never see me chasing after a man again. What the fuck do I look like? And that's all I felt this season. Like, I was screaming at my fucking TV, AD, stand up, stand on business, please. Because girly, this is not looking like a good look. It's not. And it's a little bit embarrassing. So why do I say that Clay is a colorist? Hear me out. I'm gonna be paraphrasing, like I said, a lot of what Cecilia Regina said, and then I'm also just gonna be putting her video clip either before this, after this, I don't know, wherever you see it, you see it. But a lot of what she said, I agree with wholeheartedly. And that is because Clay showed that he was a colorist. He was showing that AD was not what he was looking for, but he was willing to work for it for the sake of the show. They're getting paid, y'all. Come on now.
I think the reason most people have been hesitant to call Clay a colorist outright is because he was never nasty, and he didn't display obvious colorism like most black men on reality TV shows. He did not, as we've so often seen, come with a bunch of, oh, you're not my usual type, or I just don't like, I like certain kind of, or go to the producers and say, well, why didn't you get me a better looking woman? In many respects, he always said the right things, but you shouldn't give him a pass just because he did the bare minimum. I've seen people saying it's unfair to call him a colorist because, you know, he said he was attracted to AD, and what more do we want? Jimmy said he was attracted to Chelsea. Do you believe that? The other thing is, people think acknowledging colorism is some sort of slight on AD's beauty. To me, it just exemplifies how sick a lot of these black men really are, because it's got nothing to do with attraction and everything to do with social capital. Clay is physically attracted to AD, everything but her skin tone, and that's because he hates himself, like so many of those men. But it's about social capital, and that's why who they're so attracted to changes based on outcomes. Black men were the main one calling Serena Williams unattractive and masculine and this, that, and the third, until a white man gave his stamp of approval. All of a sudden, it was, we lost the queen, and oh my god, why couldn't she try with a black man? She dated, no exaggeration, 20 black men minimum. But they didn't care until she married a white one. I was just talking with a Congolese friend of mine, and she was saying she would go out and be ignored back in her small college town until she opened her mouth. So exotic blackness, exotic darkness is okay. I've done that myself. They're always asking me, oh, what are you? A plain black American baby, 8 generations back. I'm a Negro. But if they think you're exotic or they see you with a white man, it's acceptable. We can all acknowledge that Clay was surprised immediately how AD was, because he said himself, I did not know you were dark when he met her in person. He was swayed in part by her voice and her resume, which to him sounded ambiguous or white. She had been a professional cheerleader for the Patriots. Her name is Amber Desiree. She got that soft little voice, and she herself said that lends itself to a number of ethnic groups. But since you've hung in here with me this long, I'm now going to prove empirically this Negro is a colorist. First, the focus was always on her body and not her beauty. That is a common colorist tactic. Okay, body. You okay? Here, look at you, got that shit on. Look at this fucking idiot. She's at the altar, she's walking down the aisle, that's all he could say, okay, body. Not shocking, because in addition to being a colorist, Clay also gave major zesty vibes. But even when you're walking down the aisle, a moment that's supposed to be about the culmination of a relationship, a person must be appreciating all you are, but especially how beautiful you look on this day. Oh, body, oh, your figure looks good in that dress, oh, your booty, oh, your legs, before you can even stand up there. That was always the ace in the hole, that was always the only thing he could compliment her on. It was the same thing when they first met each other outside of the pods. He was acting hesitant, and she was like, well, can you work with all this? And shows him the figure, all of a sudden, oh yeah, well that, of course. And it goes back to social capital. He won her in part because all the other guys did. Everybody, men and women, commented on her looks and her figure at the parties, at the barbecues, etc. And he's the kind of guy to be glad he's got the girl that everybody wanted. So that also gave him enough of an ego stroke to keep him in check. But if you look at what he says and does, it's clear he's a colorist. Remember in episode 8 where Clay brings AD to his house and he's showing her around? Here's his vision board. Look at the woman that's on his vision board to represent, you know, a love relationship. She's much lighter in tone. A lot of them like that plausible deniability. Oh yeah, black love bullshit. As long as it's the light skin or ambiguous woman. Fuck out of here. Also, fun fact, look what else is on there in the bottom left-hand corner. TikTok. Just confirms what we all know, he was doing this for clout. Then we go to Clay's own family dynamics. Two things. First of all, that Negro is obviously still desperate for his lame father's approval, and his mother is lighter in tone. So that means the women that the father dates and whatnot is probably lighter in tone, so Clay is going to follow suit. And the other thing is, somebody said, which one of his parents does Clay look like? In features, maybe his father, but obviously he's the darkest one in the family. And for a lot of certain type of men, that creates a complex. So part of the reason he didn't want AD because in his mind, oh, she couldn't give him lighter children. The children are going to be dark like him, and he does not like being dark-skinned. He's the first one to point it out. Remember on the wedding day, these are his blood brothers. This is Nate, that was Langston, and they're lighter in tone, and he literally calls them my light-skinned brothers when they come in. It just feels very much like that's always on his mind. And finally, his whole attitude towards marriage. Now, I want to be clear. Clay was never intending to be faithful to whoever he married. But the whole reason he was like, oh, I can't just even see marrying you. Oh my, it's just a huge mental obstacle to me. Is because AD is dark. That's his issue. He hates himself. He hates his reflection. And so he does not want children who look like him. I believe everything he said about his father. That's all true. I mean, the mother confirms. And just the way he himself showed up shows he's a huge narcissist. But that means your example of marriage, your thought of marriage was always that the man's going to do whatever the hell he wants, and the woman's just at home to be what? Popping out light-skinned babies, I guess. So the only part of that criteria she couldn't fulfill was the light-skinned part. She was willing to overlook your red flags. She was trying to work with you. She was trying to get you some help. I know that's what it was because he did that thing that colorist men do in the end, and he tried to pull a bunch of threads. A bunch of stuff he had never mentioned before. Oh, well, I was never in love with her. I was never like deeply in love, and I didn't really completely understand her finances. Just throwing spaghetti at a wall because what the hell does that have to do with anything? First of all, she's more successful. AD's a realtor, and you rent jet skis for a living, sir. So what the hell do you understand her finances have to do with you being able to marry her? Perhaps you don't understand her finances because you never had any money. But he just tried to make it her problem. It was this, it was that, it was everything, it was nothing. But the question is, why aggravate AD at all? He had the chance in the past to date someone with an obvious accent like Amy that would specifically mark them as non-black, and you could have all the ambiguous children that you want, at least in theory. Because men like this want to play on the sympathy of black love. They never want to have to grow up and be responsible and be held accountable like other men. Another woman wouldn't have accepted all of his facile excuses. Oh, well, my daddy, oh, I'm just so broke. She would have been like, sir, stand the hell up, okay? You're a grown man. Either you is or you ain't. You see how his father, it must be almost 70 years old, still making those same excuses? Well, I didn't have anybody to be a role model for me. He sounds just like the plurality of them. Always want somebody to hold their doggone hand and give them participation trophy because they showed up. Oh, you're a good man because you didn't just outright abandon your child. Well, you sent a check. Oh, well, that's good. You want to be held to a lesser standard. And it's an insult to the handful of black men who actually are good men, like my own dad, who are amazing fathers and husbands, faithful, involved with their children, love their wives, equal members of the household. But they try to suppress or not give those men shine because it makes the average The Ultimatum, Love Island, Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle. It doesn't matter how perfect a black woman is, because they have literal models on those shows, some of them. These men have their own demons, and it's not your responsibility to fight them off. It's time for black women as a whole, particularly my ebony rich queens, to move into the wider world and leave losers behind. Because the thing is, AD can function in the outside world. That's why she's been successful in real life. Clay is a loser. And that's why they want to keep black women stuck in, dating within the race. It's the only way a lot of these loser men will ever look good, under the guise of black love. They want to keep your competition small, while they allow themselves to date the rainbow. Don't be a sucker, okay? One side loyalty is for suckers. Go out there and give yourself all the best options. Particularly men who think you are beautiful and not just that your body is sexy and hot. Men who actually want to make your life easier, not make you their free therapist and burden you with all their crap. Like this loser. Let them power for more.
Every comment about AD was about her body. Yeah, he would say some corny ass shit. Oh, she makes me want to be better and this and this and that. But it was never giving, I want to marry you. Also, AD's mother, girl, you talked her into this. It's a good man, Savannah. And look what happened to your daughter. She ignored all the red flags because she wanted to be the first one in the family to be married. And now she's the first one to be embarrassed on live television because y'all wanted to push this thing on top of her instead of really making her be like, girl, rethink this. If all he's doing is talking about your body, he don't like you. Clay did not like that girl. He was trying to find every reason to say no to her at the altar. And I know that Love is Blind has this like agreement or whatever contract that if you get proposed, make it out the pods, all that other stuff, you have to pay $50,000 if you do not make it to the altar, unless it's like for like the director's approval or the producer's approval. And I think that's why we saw so many breakups on camera. We saw fucking Kenneth and Brittany. We saw Laura and Jeremy. We saw Jimmy and Chelsea. I think because those three relationships were on camera, I do believe that none of them had to pay for it. I think because AD and Amy, they got so close to, the bachelorette parties, they literally, it's like, you can't pull out last fucking minute like that. There's like, unless it would be like this huge drama fight, whatever, the day before, and ain't nobody finna pick a fight. And if they did, they're gonna go into it and be like, we did fight last night and it is making me, like they would do something like that, but no. So I just know that literally even in his body language, like I saw one TikTok where the officiant, whatever the fuck the wedding person's called, he's literally saying there like whatever, and Clay is shaking his head. No, like bitch, no, I'm not about to marry you.
Clay literally tells AD no while they're getting married, and she just totally misses it.
A union of two, a dedication. Many have chosen lifelong partnerships, but today we celebrate yours. We celebrate yours.
He literally says no, and she just completely misses it.
I also feel like it showed Clay's character when he needed to know what she looked like from the beginning, because he's like, oh, I need to know what you look like. Da-da-da-da. Why the fuck would you go on a show? Love is Blind. The whole aspect, what AD is saying, the whole point of going on the show was so we don't know what each other looks like. So are you just proving that love isn't blind? And I feel like with this show, they need to have at least one couple that gets married every season to prove that love is blind and da-da-da-da-da. I also feel like with AD having such a soft voice and a demeanor that she could have came off as racially ambiguous or even white in that sense. And I think that with her saying like Clay, like, that's kind of defeats the whole purpose of this fucking experiment. I wish she would have stood 10 toes down on that. I don't think that Clay ever deserved to even be able to propose to someone. You defeated the whole fucking purpose of this experiment, and that was because you were scared that you were gonna get a dark-skinned woman. Let's be honest. I feel like the real reason why Clay wanted to know what she looked like is because of the hatred that he had for himself. Hear me out. I'm saying that because his hatred is more actually towards his dad, because of that love that he saw towards his dad. Even his dad marrying a light-skinned woman and being with her for 25 years. Like Clay said, he was going on fucking field trips with his daddy to cheat. So that's where it's like, even if your mama is light-skinned, it's still not good enough. And that is what I'm saying. Misogynoir, intersectionality, colorism, these all play a factor when it comes to how black men treat black women. And this isn't a I hate black men page, okay? I love my black men, love my black kings, but at the same time, these are the same men who don't think black women are attractive until it is given by a white man's approval. Black men don't believe that certain people are attractive until a white man dates them. Let's be real. It's like y'all need that stamp of fucking approval. Like I said earlier, I feel like because AD was darker than him, he had an issue with that because he realized that like, okay, if I do get married to this woman, people are gonna expect kids out of us. And I have a hatred towards myself of being a dark-skinned black man, that if I bring in dark-skinned children into this world, he's going to project that onto his kids. Let's let's be real. The next topic I want to talk about is the objectification of AD. And this is what we see a lot of the times with Black women. And this is why Black women feel in a sense that, yes, they're intellectual, yes, all that other stuff, but people are always going to look at their body in a way of sexualizing them and objectifying them. When Clay and AD first meet, we can kind of see that he was taken aback, but obviously you're on camera, you're going to have to kind of act a little bit. But I think it was more of when AD did the twirl to show off her body. I feel like in a sense it was kind of her selling herself to him. And when I say that, not in like slavery terms, chill the fuck out. What I mean by that is kind of she was saying like, okay, I know you might not like what's up here, but what about here? What about this body? And I feel like a lot of the times Black women do that just because we have very prominent features. Let's be real, we're the fucking blueprint when it comes to having an ass, when it comes to just like looking muscular but like good at the same time. Black women eat that shit down all the time. So I think that in a sense, like, she was selling Clay her body in a sense of like, okay, like, I know maybe the attractiveness has to get there. Usually you're probably not used to dating darker skinned women. So I feel like in a way she was trying to sell herself and be like, hey, like, I'm still pretty, I'm still whatever, just to like make him like her. I don't know if that makes sense.
You know, and then when I saw you, I was like,
See a little more?
oh my.
My strings?
AD.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I don't even know what to do
I
right
know
now.
you don't. I know you have no idea what to do.
No idea.
No
Like,
clue.
and your back is like so smooth, so I love backs.
Oh, you love back.
I do.
I got back.
You do. I got a lot of back.
With AD sexualizing herself and almost objectifying herself as well, kind of reminds me of Sarah Bartman, who was put on display and, you know, in circuses because of her body, because of her large breasts and her big butt. And this is what I'm talking about, is Black women are the blueprint. We are, but yet at the same time, we are objectified. And this also is what reminds me of fat phobia, but that's a conversation for another time because I don't want to get into it. Sarah Bartman and somebody, there's a book on this and I really feel like I should read the book in order to make a video on it. But Sarah Bartman, I feel like is a prime example of how back then people were scared to be fat, even though she wasn't fat, but it was bigger. But then at the same time, you see white women wearing dresses that mimic the same body as Black women. Interesting enough. Anyways, like I said, that's a video for another time. Another example of the objectification of AD is with Jimmy saying that she's stacked. And I feel like Chelsea kind of internalized that just a little bit because Jimmy hadn't given her any other compliments except her fucking teeth. So I feel like she kind of internalized that, but also like with AD saying that she doesn't just eat pointless calories or calories that don't matter. Clay didn't understand trying to act stupid and act like he didn't know that women's bodies are different from men's. I feel like that was the stupidest comment, and that would have showed me how self-absorbed this man is and that he really doesn't care about getting to know a woman. He just wanted to be on a TV show. Within that, it just seemed like everybody kept objectifying AD, like with Laura even having the joke towards Jeremy about going to do a bean dip or whatever the fuck that term was called. Another example of AD being objectified. Within all that, I feel like Clay saw the way that everyone looked at AD and how everyone had an interest in AD. With men's ego, I think that he was like, oh, okay, like I have everything that other people want, aka AD, and I feel like that made him even more attracted to her. As weird as it sounds, when you have something that everybody else wants, it makes it feel like it's even more high of value. So I think that's why Clay kind of played her, because AD's AD. But at the end of the day, he knew he wasn't gonna say yes. He played this girl. She wasted her fucking time. And Chelsea, you're lucky you didn't make it to the altar and you weren't embarrassed in front of everyone. Even when she was walking down the aisle, Clay still found ways to objectify her, being like, okay body, not even you look so beautiful right now, oh my gosh, like, and him playing into it like he was gonna say yes. That was also kind of fucked up. But also with AD, she was playing into it as well. She was like, you already know I got the material on. Like, they were too kiki kaka. This was not like, oh my god, we're about to get married. This was like, you're my best friend. Like I get it, but like in a serious moment like that, I'd want my husband to be like, you look fucking beautiful, you look breathtakingly gorgeous. That's what I want when it comes to getting married. Like, I'm not gonna fucking settle. What? Another part that just disgusted me was like after Clay rejected AD, like his father, of course he takes terrible advice from his father. When he goes in there, he like objectifies her even more. She's sitting there crying and you're trying to kiss all up on her. Nigga, you just rejected this girl in marriage and you're trying to make out with her? Then trying to be like, come on, don't be like that. Nigga, that shit irritated my soul because I'm like, are you kidding me? You just broke my fucking heart on national television television and you're talking about come on because I don't want to kiss you. I feel like with AD talking about how she really wanted it to be her time and why can't it be her time, I feel like that ties into misogynoir even more, because it just shows like no matter what we do for these men, it will never be enough. At the end of the day, that shit hurt. That's really why I wanted to make this video, because you can ignore all the red flags, you can think that you can change this man, but at the end of the day, he will embarrass you. And it's even like tying into the idea of like everybody wants the fantasy of being with a black woman, but nobody actually wants to be with a black woman. And call me controversial, but this is the one part where I do disagree with Dr. Umar when it comes to dating and, you know, interracial marriages and interracial relationships. If a white man is willing to treat me better than any black man in this community and willing to let me live that soft life that I want to live, and he ain't racist and he's actively, you know, whatever, go ahead. Or a man of any other race for that sort. I am just tired of the same men in our community telling us that we need to date our men, but the men won't even date us. So make it make sense. The same men who are all dating the snow bunnies, y'all don't even want to be with black women. So why are you even talking? Why are you even having an opinion? That internalized misogyny, I don't want to be a part of it. Imagine if AD went with Matthew. Like, imagine if that worked out. Imagine how much different things would have played out. I really don't think Matthew would have objectified her because he was awkward. Let's be real. I'm just tired of seeing my sisters always begging, like, not even begging, but just wondering when the time for them is gonna be. When will it be our time? For my black women, our time is coming soon, okay? And the point I wanted to make, no matter how much black women pour into other people because of white supremacy, and the darker that your skin is, people will never deem you valuable unless you have gotten the approval of the white man. As much as it is terrible to say, that's the truth. To end this video off, I want to talk about misogynoir and why black women should be unapologetic as fuck. People are going to hate on us no matter what we fucking do. We date a black man, they hate on us for that. We date a Hispanic, we date an Asian, we date a white man. No matter what, someone is always going to comment on what the black woman is doing. So just do you. Y'all see Nara Smith. I feel like kind of something I've kept a secret is I've been following Lucky Blue Smith and Nara Smith since like before 2020, before they were even married. First I followed Lucky and then I followed Nara because I'm like, oh, like he's with the black girl basically, like, okay, Lucky, I see you. And so that's why I've been following them, and I've been following them since before they were even pregnant, all that other stuff. Seeing her now and like kind of seeing her blow up, but also like seeing the hatred that she gets, it's Nara. She minds her fucking business. So that's where I'm just like, no matter what you do, people will hate on it, people will have something to say. As long as you're happy, healthy, and you're not harming nobody, do what you want to do. For real. Black women are the blueprint, and yet people will still have an issue with what we do no matter what, even though we invent every trend. They call us ghetto for doing what we invented, but for them it's innovative. So that's why I'm saying I'm done apologizing, and I'm literally just gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do, because no matter what, people are always gonna have something to say, and that's why you should just ignore them, because who gives a fuck? You are living your life. If you are happy, you're not hurting no one, and I know some people may not agree with it. Shit, it doesn't matter. As long as you're fucking happy. I may not understand it. Like I said though, as long as you're happy, healthy, you're not hurting no one, that's it. I'm gonna mind my business. So for the end of this video, I kind of just want to wrap it up and just talk about being a black woman is hard, but being a black woman in America is harder. Just the dating scene, everything in that sort. But like, I just say, do what you need to do, girl. Align to the person that you want to be aligned with, and the people will come in your life. I truly, wholeheartedly believe in that. And that is what I'm trying to do for myself. I feel like I, in the past, have been blind to situations that have not served me. And I feel like, you know, I can empathize to AD. We want to be picked. We want to be loved. Don't even say that you haven't done it before, because I know you have, girly. It's okay. We all learn the lessons that we need to learn and take them forward in our lives. And with that, I just say, don't repeat lessons, learn from them. Life will be better. Let me stop fucking rambling. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye, y'all.